Hey everyone, welcome back. Today we are diving deep into the latest earnings call from Ather Energy, one of India's biggest names in electric scooters. And let me tell you, they just had an absolutely massive quarter. So we're going to break down exactly how they pulled it off, what it all means, and where they're going from here. Let's get right into it. Everything really starts with this one giant number, 940 crores. That's the total income Aether pulled in for the quarter. It is by far their highest ever. Now, that's the big headline of a record-breaking performance, but believe me, the story behind that number is even more interesting. So here's how we're going to tackle this. First, we'll look at the record-breaking numbers themselves. Then, we'll unpack the actual growth playbook that made it all happen. After that, we'll get into the cool tech that's winning over so many customers. And finally, we'll look at the road ahead and their path to actually becoming profitable. All right, let's kick things off with that record-breaking quarter. It's one thing to hear the headlines, but what are the real numbers driving all this excitement? Let's take a look. It all boils down to how many scooters they sold. And get this, 66,000 in just one quarter. Now, that's not just a big number on its own. It's a massive 67% jump from the same time last year. You know, that's not just growth, that's some serious acceleration. And here you can really see just how big that leap was. I mean, they went from about 40,000 scooters last year to 66,000 now. That tells you their momentum isn't just steady, it's actually picking up steam. And of course, all those sales mean they're grabbing a bigger piece of the pie. Ather captured 17.4% of the entire electric scooter market this quarter. In fact, their own CEO said this was their strongest market share gain in a long time. They are really cementing their spot at the top. Okay, time for a little bit of finance, but stick with me because this is super important. Their EBITDA losses, basically a measure of their operating profit, hit single digits for the very first time. So what does that really mean? It means as Ather sells more and more scooters, the company itself is getting way more efficient. That gap between what they spend and what they earn is closing fast. They are getting so close to actually making a profit. So how on earth did they pull these numbers off? Well, it wasn't an accident. It was all part of a very deliberate plan. Let's dig into Ather's growth playbook and see exactly how they're expanding across the country. The core of their whole game plan is something they call the Middle India strategy. For about a year now, they've been laser-focused on pushing into these specific states, moving beyond their traditional southern strongholds to go after what they see as the next huge wave of EV customers. And the big question is, did it work? Oh yeah, absolutely. In just about a year, their market share in these Middle India states just exploded from a tiny 4% all the way up to a really strong 14.5%. They've more than tripled their presence in places where they were barely even a name before. And you don't have to take my word for it. Here's the CEO, Tarun Mehta, spelling it out for us. He said the key has been distribution, which is a fancy way of saying they've been opening new stores like crazy. We're talking 78 new showrooms this quarter alone, bringing their total to over 500 across India. This physical expansion is the engine driving everything. You know, just opening a store is only the first step. Ather has this down to a science. They figured out a clear 3-stage process for how a new showroom really starts to make money. First, customers almost immediately start buying the Pro Pack, which is their software bundle. Then, as the local dealers get more confident, they start selling more of the expensive models, which pushes up the average price. And finally, after about a year, the sales of accessories, helmets, covers, really start to take off. It's a proven formula. Okay, so we've seen the incredible numbers and the smart strategy, but what about the actual scooter? What is it about the tech that's convincing so many people to make the switch? Let's look at the innovation that's making it all happen. For Aether, it's all about the software. Their latest operating system, Aether Stock 7.0, is just packed with smart features you won't find on a normal scooter. I'm talking about things like pothole alerts and crash alerts. I mean, these are genuine safety features that can make a real difference. And the proof is right here. An absolutely incredible 89% of customers are willing to pay extra for these software features. That is a massive vote of confidence. With software being such a huge win for them, you know Ather isn't just going to sit back and relax. They're already looking ahead to their next big move in hardware, something designed to completely change the game all over again. So what is it? Well, it's called the E-Platform. This is their next-generation scooter, and it has been designed from the ground up to be better in pretty much every way. It's going to have larger 14-inch wheels for a smoother ride, it'll have an integrated charger and motor controller to make it cheaper and easier to build, and it'll have a special braking system that gives you the safety of ABS but at a much lower cost. This thing is their blueprint for the future. And that brings us to our final section, the road ahead. With all this amazing growth and a pipeline full of innovation, what does this all mean for Aether's future? How do they turn this momentum into long-term dominance and, most importantly, into profit? Ather is basically playing a two-handed game right now. On one hand, you've got the path to profitability, which is all about their current scooters, the 450 and the Rista. As they sell more of these, they get more efficient and find ways to make them cheaper to build. But on the other hand, you've got the path to future growth, and that is all about that new E-platform. It's designed to be a giant leap forward in cost and scale. And listen to this. The CEO makes it perfectly clear. He believes they don't even need to wait for that new platform to become profitable. The momentum they have right now with their current products should be enough to get them to a sustainable, profitable position very, very soon. So it all comes down to this one big question. You've got record sales, you've got an expansion strategy that is clearly crushing it, you've got class-leading software that customers absolutely love, and a next-gen platform waiting in the wings. So is Ather building a lead in the electric scooter race that's going to be impossible for anyone else to catch? Based on what we've seen this quarter, they are definitely making one heck of an argument.